Browns at the Titans. This is I believe this is the last of the early games, so not too many early games this week. Titans open up -3. They're up to 6. So it looks like a lot of sharp action moving this line in Tennessee's favor. So who do you like in this game?
I like Tennessee. I'm kind of upset that the line has basically doubled since it's come out. Because I would have liked to have faded Tennessee because everyone was going to be like, oh, look, they just crushed the Colts. They're going to be so great. But then they're playing the Browns, and I don't trust the Browns. Like, the Browns are 8-3, but I just don't think that they're that good. I think that they're good enough to possibly make the playoffs, but I don't think they're 8-3 good. They're getting Myles Garrett back, which should help them, but the rest of their defense is questionable at best right now. They've been weak up the middle all year, and then they have a ton of injuries in the secondary. Denzel Ward, if he doesn't come back, you're talking about missing him and Greedy Williams against A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, who's having a really nice season. Ryan Tannehill doesn't make many mistakes when throwing, which is weird to say because in Miami, all he did was make mistakes. It's obviously the Adam Gase factor, but he does a really good job of hitting those open receivers, and A.J. Brown's really coming on as of late. So I think they have a massive advantage there. And then on the ground, Derrick Henry has been incredible lately. And I think he might have a little bit more trouble against the Browns because they do have a good defensive front and Garrett's coming back. But still, when Derrick Henry gets going, it is very hard to slow him down or stop him. We saw that in the playoffs last year. He basically carried the Titans to the AFC Championship game. So if the line up front can get some good blocking and Derrick Henry can just get ahead of steam, I think he can rip off a ton of rushing yards and just make the Browns' life on that side of the ball very difficult. And then on offense, you're talking about the Browns running game, very, very good. But it's not going to be something that constantly wins them games. They may be able to move the ball a lot on the Titans, but after a certain point, you have to use the passing game to get the job done. Mayfield had some good moments last week, and he finally got the ball a lot to Jarvis Landry, which was very helpful. But I'm just not sold that he's going to find another weapon besides Landry. And I think that the Titans can kind of key in on him, take him away, and make other guys make plays. And we haven't seen Mayfield be able to consistently hit other players so far this year. In fact, he's been very inaccurate on some throws. So I'm going to trust Tennessee in this one, probably for just one unit, because I'm not a fan of the massive line move. But I just don't trust Cleveland right now. They were just demolished on defense by Mike Glennon. And I mean, I know I was talking him up a few picks ago, but it's still Mike Glennon. He could do well against bad defenses, but anyway.
You're not big on Kadero Hodge and Rashard Higgins?
No, I can't say that I am. I like playing them when they were like very cheap in DraftKings showdowns, but as my number 2 or 3 receiver, no thank you.
Yeah, they're $200 players on DraftKings. They shouldn't be operating as like major players. And Baker Mayfield missed so many throws last week, like so many easy throws like should have made. Like for some reason he's throwing off his back foot sometimes still. It's just like a bad sign for his progression. It just don't like how he's developing, and I feel like he's going to have to engage in a shootout in this game because, like you said, Tennessee has such a big advantage at receiver with A.J. Brown and Corey Davis going against a Cleveland team that like missing his top 2 corners, and it doesn't sound like Denzel Ward's going to play. They called it a multi-week injury. And like, granted, like he could come back earlier than expected. Like that's happened before. But even if he does, he may not be 100%. So it's going to be tough for the Browns to stop the pass. And, even though this line has moved up a lot, like the advanced line was 3.5 and now it's 6. The computer model says this line should be 10. So the computer model, as much flack as the Browns get from everyone else who hate them for being 8-3, computer model like completely despises them. So I actually agree. I actually have the Chargers ranked ahead of the Browns in my power rankings, even though the Chargers are 3-8, which is like, it's angered some Cleveland fans. But once the Browns start losing and they don't get to beat up on the barely beat the Eagles and the Jaguars and the Bengals, I think they'll see the light. So I'm going to be on Tennessee. But yeah, with this line move, it's not great. So I'm probably not going to bet this game.
Yeah, I don't hate the Chargers in front of the Browns. I can understand why people, if they were just looking at the records, they'd be like, oh, we're 8-3. But like, you got to look at the Chargers. Like, they've had so many close games that have just been blown by coaching decisions. In their game last week, like they could have ruined the Bills cover that I had, but they decided to randomly run it with no time left. And it's like, those are the coaching decisions that, I mean, they were probably going to lose that game anyway, but those are the decisions that are like, oh yeah, that would definitely lose the game if you tried that like down 7.
They ran twice.
Yeah.
With no time left. No timeouts, no time left. They just ran twice. Like, how do you not throw there? Whatever. I don't understand. I really don't get what Anthony Lynn's doing. I like, seems like a nice guy, but he might be the worst clock management coach in the history of the NFL. Like, as we've seen some beauties over the years, but like, he like, oh man, he just burns timeouts like randomly. Like, it just doesn't seem like he knows like what's happening. I could, like, the indecision's crazy. Like, I could see him like still deciding on like what to call, and like there's like zeros on the clock, and they're like, "Coach, the game's over." He's like, "Should we run the ball?" Like, it's just like that's how he coaches. Like, it's just, you have to make a decision, and you have to make the right one. He just can't do it, and it's a shame because, like I said, he's like a nice guy, but the Chargers can't have him coach again next year. They just have to move on, I think. Anyway, it's going at the late after.